Hey everybody, this is Josh Lehrer, pre-owned specialist at Leica Store Miami and co-host of your favorite Leica YouTube show, Red Dot Forum Camera Talk. If you've ever reached out to Leica Store Miami interested in trading or selling some Leica equipment, you've probably discovered that one of the first things we ask for are photographs of the equipment you're looking to sell. Now, the main reason for this is the obvious one, which is we need to know the cosmetic condition of the equipment because how it looks has a major impact on the value and therefore the credit or purchase offer that we're going to send your way. Of course, another benefit to getting a nice comprehensive set of photographs is it allows us to be sure exactly what it is you're trading in. Because Leica has a long history of different variations of products and different colors, and so getting those photos is going to help us determine exactly what you have and what it looks like. So in this video, I'll be giving you some tips, tricks, and techniques to photograph your Leica cameras and lenses in anticipation of selling them or trading them to us. I'll talk about how to prepare the equipment for the photographs, how I take the photos. In this case, I'll be using my iPhone, which is a camera that pretty much everybody seems to have these days. But of course, the techniques and the tricks that I show you will translate to just about any camera as well. So if you're looking to sell or trade your equipment and you want to learn how to take the best photos to ensure you get the best offer, stay tuned. We're going to start off learning how to photograph a Leica camera in preparation for sale or trade with Leica Store Miami. I have here a beautiful Leica MP film camera in silver. We're going to get some photos of this camera and we're going to show you how I both prepare it and photograph it to send the images to us. The first step before we take a single picture is, of course, we want our beautiful Leica equipment to look as nice as it can, because the nicer it looks, the more someone like us is going to offer you for it. That seems obvious, but it actually happens quite often that the photos I receive of Leica equipment can be covered in dirt or fingerprints. Now I get it, you're using the equipment and that's what it's made for, but when it's time to actually get it ready to be presented for sale, just like you would wash a car before you sell it, you're gonna wanna clean up your camera and lenses as best as you can. There are a couple of useful tools that I keep around just for this purpose. That's gonna be my trusty Leica lens cleaning cloth, an eye lead blower bulb, super useful. This has a filter in it, so the air that comes out is always clean. And in a really rough situation where there's something I can't quite get off with the combination of the blower and the lens cloth, I use these eye lead wet and dry wipes, which do a really nice job in getting off any residue or oils. Before we get to the point where we clean our camera though, we're going to remove any accessories that are attached to it. This includes neck strap, thumbs up, hand grips, diopters, half cases. You want your camera to look just the way it was when it was in the box from Leica, so no additional bits and pieces attached to it. This makes it easier to clean, but also it gives us, when we're reviewing the photos of it, the clearest, most uninterrupted view of the cosmetic condition. So again, be sure to remove any accessories or bits and bobs you've got attached to your equipment before you prepare it and photograph it to be traded or sold. We're gonna start with the blower bulb, and we're just gonna run some air over this camera, this beautiful Leica MP. Now it's already pretty clean, but I don't want to rub it with a lens cloth before I get the residual dust and grit off of it. Now that that is done, I'm going to take my Leica lens cloth and clean off any fingerprints or smudges, making it look really nice. Again, just like you would clean up a car before you sell it. So now that I've removed all the accessories and I've cleaned the camera nicely, we are going to grab our iPhone and take some pictures. I have an iPhone 14 Pro running iOS 16. That's what I'll be using. Of course, use whatever you have. Just be aware that that's the setup that I've got for this video. So what we're gonna do is we are going to go into the iPhone Settings. Now that's just the settings icon on your iPhone. I'm going to tap Settings. We're going to scroll down to Camera, like so. Now we see all kinds of settings here, but there's only one that I'm interested in. That is Macro Control here at the bottom. By default, on most phones, this will be turned off. I want to turn this on. And this setting is going to allow us to control when our iPhones go into macro mode and when they are not in macro mode. And the reason for that is, in my experience, in the lower, dimmer lighting, you're generally going to be photographing your equipment in, meaning indoors. The macro mode on the iPhone isn't the best at getting the fine detail of your equipment in photos, especially using the tips and tricks I'm going to be showing you. So I'm going to keep that setting turned on. Next, it's time to take some photos. For an M camera, or pretty much any camera, I like to get all 6 sides. So I'm going to take 6 photos of this beautiful silver Leica MP. First thing I'll do before I even start is remove the body cap. This way I can get a nice clear view of the, in this case, shutter, or if it was a digital camera, the sensor, plus the lens mount. So we're going to bring up the camera. I'm going to activate my 2x zoom lens, which gives me the nicest compression. We're going to tap to focus, and we're going to grab a shot. Now I'm going to put the body cap back on because I don't want to start moving the camera around too much with the body cap off. I'm going to turn the camera over, grab our trusty iPhone camera here. And if I see this little icon come up, that little flower, we want to click on that little yellow flower icon and turn it off, and just move until the image is nice and sharp. This is disabling the macro functionality and ensuring we have the crispest image of our camera. I'm going to grab a photo of the back. Next, I'm going to do the top. Here we go, like so. Now we're going to grab a photo of the bottom, and I'm going to be nice and careful here as I turn my camera upside down. Grab a photo of the bottom. Now you can see in all of these photos, I'm using the full frame, and I'm filling the frame with as much of the piece of equipment as possible. This is going to capture maximum detail and ensure that whoever is reviewing these photos to give you an estimate can see everything as clearly as possible. So we've done 4 sides. We've got 2 more. And these get a little bit trickier. As you can see, I've got the camera on a solid background, in this case, a table, and that makes sure the photos are nice and clear. There's nothing distracting. I've got a strong studio light, but of course you can use window light, a desk lamp, any kind of auxiliary lighting you have that's direct and strong enough to illuminate what you are photographing. But what I don't really have is the ability to photograph the sides of the camera without having a distracting background. So in this case, what I'm going to do is actually hold the camera like that, and then I'm going to photograph each side. We're going to go like this. I'm going to fill the frame. Here we go. We're going to put it down here. We'll go to the other side, like so. Making sure our macro controls are off. So now I've just taken 6 photos of the 6 sides of this beautiful Leica MP. And I've got a complete set of images that show every side of this camera, and whoever's going to be looking at them will know exactly the cosmetic condition. Of course, they'll also know that it's silver, and they'll know the leather covering that it has, and all the other relevant details about this specific item. If you don't have a nice solid surface to use, you can also set up a piece of paper, fabric, you can put it on a chair or a couch. The goal is to have a solid background. Light or dark, doesn't matter as much as you might think. What matters is that it's solid. You don't want anything backlighting the camera or lens when you're photographing it, or distracting lights in the house or other things that will interfere with getting a nice clean shot of the item you are photographing. Once you've got the 6 photos done, there is an option for a 7th or 8th. Depending on what it is you're trading or selling, you may want to photograph a top-down view of all the bits and pieces it comes with. This really does depend on the item. Certainly for a vintage piece, if it has maybe a unique cap or strap or some accessory that's noteworthy, you can do a nice lay flat photo where you just put all the items out onto your table or your floor or other flat surface and take a photo or two that shows everything that's there. But really what I'll be looking for if I'm inspecting photos of an item for sale or trade is the photos of all 6 sides. So we've done that. Now the photos can be sent over email or using file transfer services such as WeTransfer, Dropbox, or OneDrive. Just be sure that you're not compressing or downsizing the photos, because the goal is to have us reviewing those photos give us the best possible idea of the condition of the equipment. So if the images are highly compressed or resized by whatever method you're using to send them, it's not ideal. So you just want to be sure that you're sending us the highest quality photos possible. Now that's how you photograph a Leica camera. This is going to work for pretty much any Leica camera since they're sort of the same shape. SL, M, Q all have those 6 key sides. Next, I'm going to show you how I photograph a Leica lens. We've got our lens all cleaned up, and now we are ready to take some photos. Similar to the photos I took of our camera, I'm going to try to end up with about 6 images of this lens, showing all the sides, using our nice light, giving us, when we're reviewing those photos, the best idea of what it looks like and the version so we can make you the best possible offer. I'm going to activate my 2x zoom and macro control, which we talked about earlier. I've got my lens positioned here, in this case on my handy mouse pad. If you find your lens is rolling around quite a bit, you can simply use a rubber band, and that will keep it from moving. Or you could even use the rear lens cap on some of the smaller lenses just to keep it from rolling around. Here we go. Let's get started. We're going to first do sort of the main shot of the lens itself. There we go, beautiful. We're going to turn it a quarter of the way. Here we go. Another quarter. Here we go. One more quarter. There we go. That's going to cover all the angles of the lens barrel. Now we're going to talk about photographing the glass. I'll start with the front of the lens. Sometimes you can put it straight up and down. Other times it's nice to just hold it. I'm not going to mind if your hand's in the photo. In this case, I'm just looking to see what the glass looks like. I will say it helps to photograph the glass on a lighter colored background so we can look through the lens. I'm going to move my handy mouse pad out of the way and use the bright colored table. I'm going to make sure the aperture is opened all the way up. Now, of course, you could also use a white piece of paper or a light source, anything brighter to make sure we can see through the lens. I'm going to grab my phone again here. We're going to take a nice photo. Again, we're disabling macro control and backing up until we get a nice shot of the glass. Sometimes it's nice if you want to hold it up to the light so you get a nice reflection, really give us a good idea of what the glass looks like. I'm also capturing the serial number at the same time, which is very convenient. And the final photo I'm going to take of the lens will be of the back. With M lenses and R lenses, this is especially useful and important because it will tell us if the lens is 6-bit or ROM, and that has a big impact on value. Just like the front, I don't have a problem holding the lens. We've disabled our macro control so we can get a nice sharp photo with our 2x zoom, light background, and of course, we've opened the aperture so we can see through the lens. Now I grabbed a photo of the back, and we've got 6 nice photos of this lens. Like with our camera, there is an option for more if you want to take photos that show all of the bits and pieces that the lens comes with. Case, caps, hood, filters, any extra bits that are going to add value, you can certainly lay them out nice and flat on a table and include those in some additional photos. But really what matters is getting a good 4 to 6 photos of all sides of the lens barrel, the front and the back being sure to show the glass, the lens mount, and the serial number as well. Once you've got all those photos, send them in an email, use a file transfer service like you did with the camera. So WeTransfer, Dropbox, OneDrive. You just want to make sure the photos get to us in full resolution without any compression, so we get nice high quality photos that you worked hard to take so we can give you the best trade-in or sale offer. To summarize, there's a couple of really important aspects to be aware of when you're photographing your equipment for sale. You want to make sure that you remove any accessories, grips, filters, neck straps, anything that will interfere with us having a really good look at the equipment. You want to use your blower bulb and your lens cloth to carefully clean everything so it looks as nice as possible. You want a solid background so that there's no distractions or backlight when we're looking at the equipment. You want to make sure that that macro control is turned on if you're working with an iPhone like I am in this video. You also want to make sure that if your phone or other device has a telephoto or a 2x lens setting, that you're using that. It's going to make the equipment look as nice as possible and present it as realistically and cleanly as possible. And certainly you want to make sure that you get as many angles as possible, because after all, if we are missing the back or the bottom, we're just going to end up asking you for it and you have to go back and take photos all over again. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it got you a bit excited about the process of selling or trading your Leica gear, maybe bringing in something new. But of course, if you have any additional questions, comments, or concerns about the trade-in or sale process, feel free to reach out to us at Leica Store Miami anytime by phone or email, or come by the store and say hello. We'd love to take a look at your gear and help you as best we can.